Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is a Thursday chocked full of Nexus Gaming Series matches, and we have a Division A matchup, PFM versus Lionspeed, and my co-caster this evening for this set, which will function as the Nexus Gaming Thursday Night Showdown pregame, Negative 40. How's it going, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Excited to get this game going. Whoops. Oh my goodness, I cannot type. Alright, there we go. So, two, I think, teams, Neg, that are going to be toward the top of Div A. I'm actually really excited to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, it should be a good one. Starting here on what looks like Battlefield of Eternity. Always a fun map that can have a lot of different.
Yeah, very team fighty. That's showing that PFM is having first pick. So that means this will be Lionspeed's map choice. Neg, when you're team captaining, you have a preference between first pick or map pick, or does it just kind of depend on what's going on?
I would much prefer to have map pick. Besides having first pick, I think being in that position in the draft just gives you a bigger advantage.
So let's talk about our team, Ned. We were chatting off stream here a little bit. PFM had a fantastic season in Div B West NGS Season 5, falling in the Div B Finals to the eventual grand champions Bellevue College, but they looked really strong versus those guys. Earned themselves a promotion up to Div A, and their opponents, Lionspeed, a new roster to NGS, but all of these guys are familiar names if you've been around the scene a little bit. They've played in Chair League and NGS both on various rosters, so while it is a new squad, these guys are certainly no stranger to this kind of competitive environment.
Yeah, that's right. Even though the outcome you want is to take home that W and move on to the grand championship, you can't be disappointed with the result of season 5 for PFM.
And if I remember correctly, Bellevue was really just kind of stormed through last season, and they were one of the few teams that really kind of made them bleed a little bit. So a great season for them. But let's go to this game. Greymane first banned out for the burn on Battlefield of Eternity. Garrosh banned out, presumably because he's just annoying. And Imperious taken out of the game from PFM. And we have a pretty thorough tank choke as Diablo banned out by Lionspeed.
Yeah, I expect a lot of these bans are things that the teams just don't want to deal with. It's not necessarily that Diablo's super overpowered or Garrosh is the best tank in the game. It's just, why deal with it if you don't have to?
The first pick Artanis, I mean, if you're going to see a first pick Artanis, Neg, this is probably the only map where you'll see it. Amateur opponent gets a ton of value on the burn of the Immortal. If you can be really cheeky with a swap into a root and an immediate, a whole lot of lockdown with a Blaze and a Maiev coming out from Lionspeed.
Yeah, for sure. You see that Umbra Bind come out and Blaze Jet Propulsion. That's a lot of time that you're not able to do anything as PFM. So it's definitely something they're going to have to look out for in the remainder of this.
Yeah, and just a couple of months ago, I wouldn't have brought it up, but with the cooldown increase to Bunker, I mean, do we see Warden's Cage combustion, or you think it's still going to be that summon Bunker?
I think it's something that the teams have to consider while they're looking at the draft. Just acknowledge that, hey, they could go combustion and noting in comms when that 10 comes online. That way they're not caught off guard. You can never be too sure what the other team's plan is, and assuming what's going to happen is a good way to get caught in a combustion and in a Warden's Cage. So we'll see what happens.
On the flip side, a Nubarak who has rapidly risen to the top of the tank meta, and Stukov taken by PFM. Raynor, old steady Eddie right-click Jimmy, banned out by Lionspeed. And PFM taking their time for this last ban. They are going to take care of Jaina, getting rid of some of those circles. And an instant Tyrande Hanzo. So Tyrande is just great right now. The Lunar Flare follow-up plus the Hunter's Mark on the Immortal Hanzo with the burn. And this draft is moving along. Zeratul coming out, Nick.
Yeah, you can tell that, Lionspeed definitely had a plan. I think their picks were all locked in under a second. They're getting what seems to be exactly what they want. They know what they're doing, and hopefully PFM, has a way to counter it with this pick. And there we see Vala.
Ooh, so Darabo on Vala is going to need to be really careful. Vala puts out a lot of damage, great burn on the Immortal, but also pretty vulnerable. You have a Maya, have a Blaze, Tyrande, Lunar Flare. Is this going to be a main tank Blaze, or are we going to have a huge frontline coming out by Lionspeed?
Nope. Answered the question there. I mean, there could be a world where we see offlane Johanna, but I doubt.
Yeah, I actually saw an offlane Johanna just the other day, actually. They had a front line of Johanna ETC, and they sent Johanna off to the solo lane. I mean, not something you typically think of as a solo laner, but she had the wave clear and was never in any danger, basically, so it worked out perfectly well.
Yeah, I've seen it, a couple of times too, here and there. Some of them might even just, rip Falling Sword and, catch a lot of people by surprise, especially with that 20 in a Warden's Cage. You never know.
So, your expert analysis, Neg, which one of these drafts do you like better?
I gotta go Lionspeed on this one. Hanzo, Maev, just gonna shred that Immortal. A lot of lockdown. Tyrande is super strong on this map as well. I think PFM can struggle if they lose the first objective and they find themselves behind and waiting for Zera to get 16 and 20 to really come online.
Yeah, Battlefield of Eternity is not really one of those battlefields where you want to wait too long into the game. I really think this game is going to come down to does Vala feel comfortable? If she feels comfortable in this game and not under pressure and is able to get the damage where she wants it to go, I think it could go the way of PFM. But if she is constantly running for her life and worrying about staying alive as opposed to dishing out the damage, it's going to be a long game for PFM. Speaking of PFM, The Stroke playing Nubarak, Arya on Stukov, Darabo on Vala, Zerisk on Zeratul, and Mudge on Artanis.
And over on Lionspeed, we have Glaucus on Tyrande, Barchizi on Johanna, UMN Devo on Hanzo, and up in the top lane, Big Wiz on Blaze.
So Artanis is kind of hovering around in the middle there. I wonder if he's kind of anchoring a rotation to see if it gets a little cheeky. Tyrande caught with the flank and taken down to about half health by a Zeratul down there. Star Fox wants the big teleport. There it is. Hits the Umbral Bind on 1. Lunar Flare catches 2. Peeling, Lurking Arm. Both teams trading his damage. And there is Zeratul like a homing missile straight to Tyrande. Neg, I think we're going to see Zeratul on Tyrande this whole game.
Yeah, I mean, Hanzo, Tyrande, that can be a real issue. Having Zera on you the entire game, having to play safe, not knowing where he is. I'm kind of surprised we're not seeing him snipe that mid well, especially with Blaze showing top now. But the pressure that he's putting on this backline is definitely just going to get worse and worse as this game.
And look at what we have here is actually Tyrande the first to fall, Vala almost getting Maiev as well. What I started to say before we had First Blood is as that little skirmish unfolded, Zeratul went straight onto Tyrande, Maiev went straight onto Vala, and I think we're going to see that the whole game. Those two heroes in particular are going to be under a lot of pressure from Maiev and Zeratul respectively, and Nubarak running for his life, 400 health, 300 health, gets away safely with about 80 hit points left.
Yeah, that's going to be a kill that they're going to want back, especially with the siege camp pushing.
And meanwhile, let's not ignore the brawl in the top lane as Artanis and Blaze are just absolutely wailing on each other.
Yeah, the siege camp, not worth dying for as we see Stukov coming up. Might make Big Wiz think twice about getting.
Good call by Big Wiz. I don't know who would have won that. I think Artanis probably eventually. would have worn Blaze down, but it wouldn't have been a quick thing by any stretch.
Definitely not. You can see Blaze is already, less than half mana right now just from that exchange.
2 minutes in, both teams jumping onto the bruiser camps as we prep for the first immortal phase of the game.
Yeah, pretty standard. You want to get these out around 2:30, right before this spawns. You can see the Lionspeed cap theirs already.
Yeah, and PFM holding theirs a little while longer. They'll probably cap it any second now.
They're probably waiting for them to get some damage on the Bruiser so they can ignore it completely.
Could be the case, however. The side of Lionspeed here, they're kind of in position to burn already. And now they go. And you can't underestimate that if you're PFM. Lionspeed has really great burn. And you can see this thing is... It's almost halftime already, Neg.
Well, that's why you draft Tyrande on this map. The Hunter's Mark goes out, and almost a free object.
Yeah, I think PFM kind of held onto that camp a little long, and they surrendered the positioning around the Immortal. Lionspeed just took advantage and murdered that Immortal, and now they're going to race, and this... I don't see this not going to Lionspeed here.
Yeah, there's no world where Lionspeed doesn't get this first objective.
And, PFM knows that going in, but the first objective is, not the end of the world if you don't get it. The positioning is awkward to be aggressive in that. So they, after losing halftime, they essentially chose to surrender the objective and just kind of move on with the game.
Well, you get the damage on it. You can, get the shield as low as possible before the, comes up to this top lane, make it a little easier to defense for your team.
Anubarak actually caught with a raw Lunar Flare at the end of his Burrow charge, and then Umbral Binded took a lot of damage. Was able to get away because of a great lurking arm by the Stukov there.
Yeah, and you can see the Zera starting to chunk them down more and more, and he's not even level 7 yet, so they really got to start paying attention to what Zera's doing and where he's at on this map.
Oh, and Nubarak went a little bit too deep, tried to get the triple stun on the Burrow charge, wasn't able to do it, and was immediately counter-killed there. And now Lionspeed having their eyes set on this top fort, first structure of the game, looking to fall from PFM, but I'm wrong. They're backing up. Enough poke damage coming out by Zera.
Yeah, that's definitely not a death you want there. They at least saved the fort, which is good.
And that's how you know that these guys all know each other there. Talking about families in the game. Life's good, kids good, college good.
A noob might be in trouble again here.
Yeah, Stroke being put under just a ton of pressure. Nubarak is in a really good spot right now. However, not really a super durable tank and can be vulnerable to being bursted down if he gets himself in a rough spot.
Yeah, Hanzo with Redemption at 1, they're going to have to pay attention to how many stacks he has, about halfway there, to the 12 he needs for that auto attack speed to increase.
And
that's
we
probably
have
a kill.
Round 2 in the bottom lane. It went from a 1v1 to a 2v2, and I think Lionspeed is going to lose this vault to the Wardens to keep Star Fox up. Swapped Big Wiz actually onto the point, but Star Fox, even though he was so low, kind of hung around and just kept getting the resets. Still, though, the Stroke hung in there strong, picked up the map, or the Mercenaries, and then cleaned up 2 kills right as our second objective spawned.
Yeah, that's really good timing on that. Those kills, real low, kind of just need to leave and give it up, not worth dying for, I think. Also really can't, clump for those Maya resets.
Yeah, when he started to withdraw, I figured they would, but he kind of just hung around and kept getting the reset after reset there. This time it's PFM that actually wins halftime. And since they've lost halftime, Lionspeed opted to defend. Tether pulling the Artanis in. Zera is kind of off to the side soaking for 10. And now we have a DC. We might have a pause. I was wondering, Zeratul was kind of offside soaking, and then he sort of wandered down, but not really, and then we had the DC, and it all made sense. So, pretty close game so far, Lagif being called. But PFM, right on the verge of 10s, and that should give them this second objective, I would imagine.
Yeah, and that's definitely where they want to be after losing the first objective. Getting a lot of damage down on that fort. They find themselves after those kills bottom lane, almost up half a level, and that's where they want to be. They want to be, first to 10, definitely first to 13 and 16, so they can really take advantage of, what Zera brings to their.
So with Lionspeed in defensive positions, it looks like Blaze will probably, once this game restarts, he's going to go side soak bottom and clear out the camp. I imagine PFM will move around their Immortal and side soak 10 in the top lane before forcing the 10-9 fight. And then this game's really going to get online as teams pick up their heroics. What heroics are we going to see out of PFM, or you think?
I mean, it's got to be Cocoon, VP. Stukov could go either way. I don't see anyone, I don't think this is a Reign of Vengeance game for Vala. Definitely looking for more lockdown, more stun, especially if you take kind of your meme beam for Artanis, even though I think we'll see Suppression Pulse.
I think Suppression Pulse probably, but I think you can make the argument too if you put the meme beam, as you call it, on the Tyrande, it forces her to move around. She can't just sit there and auto attack and put her heal cooldown into effect either. So I've seen teams just kind of stick that in Tyrande mid-fight, and it really puts a damper on what she's trying to do. So I could see them go that way. Definitely going to be Cocoon, although yesterday we did see a... why am I blanking on the other heroic that nobody ever picks for a new brag?
Because nobody ever picks it.
That's right. Swarm, something Swarm. Help me, chat. What's the other one?
Carrion Swarm?
Carrion Swarm? No, that's
that sounds like Mal'Ganis.
That's Mal'Ganis. Something Swarm. But the other one that nobody picks. I saw that in a game yesterday. Is this gonna be our team is mostly military, bad internet. Good to know. Warden's Cage with the Starfall on top?
I would definitely think so. There's probably an argument to make for Dragon Strike over Arrow. Lock everybody down in that cage. They can't go anywhere. Keep them in that damage. But I think it's going to be Arrow.
All right, we have the restart, and we're off. So as expected, Blaze side-soaking bottom. However, Lionspeed getting aggressive here, pre-10, trying to force something out. Swap hits, Johanna able to just escape the lurking arm. Zeratul was in the top, and now he returns and back to top for that side. So level 10's nearly here for PFM. Tether goes in, they do get the Artanis. Lunar Flare doesn't connect, and I imagine we're going to see Lionspeed withdraw here shortly. But no, they are going strong.
Now they have 10, and this is not the fight you want to take if you're Lionspeed.
And they are backing up. It is going to be Reign of Vengeance, massive shove. That is Suppression Pulse, I believe, and it is a Cocoon, of course, and Zeratul being a little bit cagey and not showing his heroic quite yet.
I think Zera is still DC'd. Or maybe not.
Yeah, I think he is. I'm almost positive he is. And it says Zeratul above his name. Unfortunate. But despite the Zeratul AI, PFM picking up the second objective.
Yeah, well, when Zera comes back, I mean, he can lock in pretty fast,
Well, the question is he going to lock
VP
in or is he going to
get out?
Oh, there you go, VP to get out.
I don't think he dies here, but we'll see.
Depends on how quickly he presses his buttons and if Blaze is able to land the big charge there. Unfortunate that our military has potato internet. That's slightly worrying. So do you 5-man it here, Neg? Do you send somebody to make sure you soak that top lane? What's your call here if you're PFM?
They're in a little weird situation just because they have the Zera bot split in the middle of nowhere around 3 members of Lionsgate. But in a perfect world, I think you have 10. Lionspeed doesn't yet. You really want to take this fight and really push your advantage. Get this fort, make some damage on the keep wall.
Still waiting for Zera to return.
Especially if someone shows that they're soaking top from Lionspeed, you definitely push your advantage.
Yeah, I tend to, I don't disagree, but more speaking generally, when we're on Battlefield, we tend to side soak for the first 2 or until we're eyeing a keep. Kind of when our goal with the objective is to secure that first keep, that's when we actually bring in all 5 members. Until then, we tend to try to maximize the soak and make sure we don't lose any of that. It looks like we do have ours coming out. And let's see, does Zera get out? There's the pick of the VP. The charge misses, but he's still in trouble, Neg. I don't think his blink is up. Oh, now it is. 2. The scatter arrow
got him.
Anyway.
UMN Devo took geometry class and passed.
And now PFM, they put the cocoon on the Maiev. There goes the Blessed Shield. And there's the Lunar Flare. And Nubarak going in deep one more time. PFM kind of a fighting withdrawal as they do see Blaze in the top lane. They do know there's a 4-on-4 here. But with Vala having no mana whatsoever, I think they decide to go ahead and retreat.
Johanna there did use Blessed Shield, but you can see that the other 4 arts was definitely up. Something that PFM is going to have to look for. It is Arrow, Cage, and Starfall.
Yep, Warden's Cage, Blessed Shield is the bunker, Starfall, and the Arrow. There is a stun onto Tyrande. PFM going in hard. Lurking Arm does catch 1, but was maybe a little bit behind the main fight as they were able to, for the most part, just walk out of it. Blaze holding in the top lane, now back at base, and going for the soak. So Lionspeed content to take the 5-on-4 momentarily. Both of the offlaners will resume their brawl in the top lane. PFM starting to work on the bottom siege camp.
Yeah, it looks like they took that pretty easily. There comes out their cocoon. Could we see a fight?
No, I think that was a disengagement there. What I noticed is a noob, even though he was in that bush, Hanzo just chunks the Anub out so fast he really can't hold that front line very effectively. So he kind of just bought a little time with his positioning, and then that was a let me get out of here cocoon.
Yeah, now that Hanzo's finished with Redemption, those autos are going to come out a lot faster now.
However, a lot of blue mercenaries on the map. The top one pushing with Katas in the top. They do secure and then sit on the Bruiser, and now they are rotating in the flank. Hanzo might be in trouble. Zera goes right onto him, and a noob and the Lurking Arm are going to be right in the middle of this Warden's Cage. Everybody pressing their Rs. Lionspeed in retreat. Tyrande likely to go down, but the Dragon Arrow for the Peels. Zeratul dives in anyway, secures the kill, and then runs for his life. Burrow charge to secure the Maiev. Johanna is going to be body blocked to death. 3-0 in a running engagement. Great flank coming out from PFM.
Yeah, that fight probably went about as good as they wanted it to there. They saw their flank. They definitely engaged off that VP. And that's why a lot of teams, you'll see ban Zeratul no matter what the map is. Just hard to deal with, and it's just going to get harder for Lionspeed as this game goes.
Yeah, and that team fight, that secured them a lot of value out of that. They're going to get halftime, they're going to get 13 advantage, and they still have that Bruiser camp that they pre-secured, pushing in the bottom lane. And looks like Lionspeed is going to be content to trade. Probably. Nubarak might be in trouble. He went to zone, forced to burrow charge out, but a full, absolute full health Immortal coming out here for PFM. And it's going to be pushing in the bottom lane where those mercenaries are still there. And sort of strong. Where the mercenaries softened up the lane.
And you can see VP about 10 seconds from being back up. You know, they're going to look for the same kind of flank again with Zera.
Yeah, Zera kind of hovering around at the top here. Blaze did see him, gave him a little barbecue sauce for his trouble. Maiev throwing a little damage his way too. Making sure that Zerisk knows that they know he's there. VP is up though, there it is! There's the VP!
Really good bunker, but the swap just caught Tyrande perfectly. Not much you can do about that.
Yeah, and Lionspeed is in trouble. Blaze is cocooned, and just like Johanna before him, he is going to be body blocked to death. Tries to run the opposite direction. Swap does not hit, and it looks like Big Wiz will escape for now. But a full health Immortal with still like 20% shields bursting through this bottom wall. Dive onto the Maiev. There's the swap. There's the teleport, escaping barely. First keep over to PFM.
But this is, you know, looks like they're going to try to push in to finish this off. This Immortal's still pretty healthy. Nope, they're...
Yeah, I thought the end call would have been a little ambitious. But Maiev does go down to Zeratul, and now a re-engage by PFM. Blaze is in trouble, and actually the core shields, because they opted to fight instead of burn the Immortal, that decision probably just cost Lionspeed game 1, I think.
And there it is.
And it does. Game 1 going to PFM. PFM was showing the withdrawal. I think if Lionspeed just allowed them to leave and burned the Immortal, this game would still be going on.
I agree. I think you got to focus on, what wins you the game, and what decisions you can make that are going to lose you the game. And if one person dies there, gets called off, or gets swapped by Artanis, and Artanis had been hitting swaps all game, it's something you got to be wary.
And not just that, but offering the battle to chase PFM away. They just gave like let the Immortal kind of wail on their core for free. Even if they would have caught it and killed some out, they were trading core damage for some kills that probably weren't going to net them anything. An overall pretty competitive game, but with a couple of big VP wombos, PFM riding that to a game 1 victory.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a couple fights that could have gone either way, especially that one on the siege camp on the bot,
Sure.
where a noob finished off Blaze and Maiev after Artanis died, and it was pretty pivotal and swinging the game for PFM.
So this season, new to NGS, we have moved from the 2-game sets to the 3-game sets, so it will be a best of 3. However, if you pull out the 2-0 domination, you get a full 3 points instead of 2 points for a 2-1 win. So you definitely want to get the dominations if you can for those extra points. Lionspeed now gets to choose first pick or map pick for game 2. So while they're thinking about that, Neg, I'm going to put us on about a 2-minute break, and we'll be right back for game 2.
All right, sounds good.
All right, we are back for game 2 in lobby 2 Infernal Shrines. And it looks like this is actually PFM's map choice of Lionspeed going with first pick.
Yeah, this is personally one of my favorite maps, so I'm excited to see what these teams draft and how it plays out.
Yeah, last season, if I remember correctly, in both NGS and I'm pretty sure HGC as well, this was the most played battlefield in those competitive spaces. It's kind of a very straightforward, kind of neutral, standard competitive map, if you will. But I think it's kind of a good place for teams to kind of feel each other out where they are compared to their opponent, if that makes sense.
It does, and you can see, um, Diablo ban first here. Another thing that they just don't want to deal with. Um, I would imagine that Lionspeed's second ban is going to be Zeratul.
Would not surprise me at all, or maybe their first pick. And if you're Lionspeed, I don't think you really are too down on yourselves after that first game. It's just a couple things going differently here or there, and that could have been a totally different game. It's just a competitive game that you lost, so you set it aside, and Neg, you called it. Zeratul banned out by Lionspeed.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that why deal with it if you have to, and PFM showed that they can play it.
And casting as long as I have and playing mid-level competitive as long as I have, I've seen a lot of different things run off of the VP, but I don't think I've actually seen what they ran specifically. Kind of the Anubarak burrow charging into a VP lurking arm was a little bit different of an execution, but it was pretty effective.
Yeah, you can't scrounge at those results. Those team fights went how PFM wanted them to, starting them off with the VP both times, and pretty much what was determined the game.
And when you've got that lurking arm right underneath, it's just brutal to get out as a first pick Leoric. However, Egg, I hate to be negative but about it, but that was not Janitor Leoric, so I'm really concerned about Lionspeed's chances here.
There's still time to switch the skin.
Rick, thanks for the bits, bud. So 2 picks coming out from PFM. It's going to be Muradin Sonya. This is circa 2017 here, man, with a Muradin Sonya first pick on Infernal Shrines. I can't tell you the last time I've seen a Sonya in a competitive environment, but PFM breaking out the Barbarian.
Sonya is really good on this map. You just zone out the other team and let Sonya, use Whirlwind on those little monkeys and get yourself a free objective.
Tyrande once again and a Greymane. So both teams showing all of the roles. I imagine we're going to see a tank ban here coming out from PFM. Garrosh or Anubarak still on the board.
I could even imagine where you would almost ban Johanna and force them into Garrosh if you have a plan for it. It just depends on what they're doing.
Well, you called it, Neg. It's like it's not your first time.
I have played 2 games, maybe 3 before.
So ban coming out here for Lionspeed, and just like it's a tank ban for PFM, got to be a support ban for Lionspeed. Is it going to be Alex Straza, who is so good on Shrines, especially if you put that percentage healing under an Avatar Muradin? You take the Stukov away, which was a factor last game, and instead they're going to take away Kael'thas, who is so good on Shrines. So I like that ban as well.
Yeah, I think it's just another case of, 1, being good on the map, and 2, not saying that they're not good enough to not spread bombs, but why worry about it if you don't have to?
Yeah, for sure. If you just take away that one less thing for you to worry about. Cassia picked up into a Greymane, a really solid pick there. And there's the Stukov. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Last 2 picks, we have main tank and flex, and main tank Uther. Main tank Uther, is that what it is? Because that's what it looks like to me.
Oh, that's definitely what that is.
And a Medivh. Well, we went from standard to cheeky. If I would have told you last game that PFM was going to bust out with a Muradin, Sonya, Cassia, Stukov, Medivh comp, you would have looked at me like I was crazy. And then a double support Uther, Tyrande, Orphea, no primary tank coming out here from Lionspeed. Is this Div D or Div A? I'm really interested to see what these two pretty high-level teams come out with these unusual compositions.
Well, Xeris played the Zeratul last time, if I'm not mistaken.
He
so
did.
he definitely showed his mechanical prowess on that hero, and pretty excited to see what he brings with Medivh. As far as the main tank Uther, messing around. Some people that I played with, ran something similar to this on Infernal Shrines before, and it worked out really well for us. And I think we won the game in about 8 minutes. So, not saying that's what's going to happen here, but
So is this going to be a Entomb, Starfall, Eternal Feast at an Orphea type deal, or is she going to go her Crushing Jaws? What do you think?
I think you definitely go Crushing Jaw still. There's a case for, Entomb and the Eternal Feast, but, you whiff Entomb and you press R as Orphea, and now you don't have ults to finish the team fight.
So for PFM, the Stroke riding the Chihuahua as Candy King Muradin. Darabao is on Cassia, Arya back on the Stukov, Mudge on Sonya, and because it doesn't have names, I have to press tab. It's Xerisk on Medivh.
And on Lionspeed, you got StarFox64 on Greymane, who just got hit by the Stormbolt. Varcheezy123 on Leoric. Glaucus on the Tyrande again. UMN Devo on Orphea. And Big Wiz on the main tank.
Well, once again, we do have a DC for Xerisk. That's feels bad, man. While we're looking here, they'll pause if they need to. So Leoric is going to rotate into the main, into the offlane, I should say, and Uther will 100% function as the main tank in this 4-man here. And he's actually soloing as the main tank. Uther does it all.
Yeah, it looks like Xer's back. No need for a pause, I guess. Just a little hiccup in his internet, but hopefully we'll see him get some stacks up, and Lionspeed definitely going to be looking to reset those.
Uh-oh, Xerisk is in trouble. I think the Lagif got him. First blood over to Lionspeed.
That to me looked like a little bit of lag. I think if there was a person there, that portal definitely gets clicked.
Yeah, for sure.
Lionspeed down on the bottom, taking this siege camp. After that Medivh kill, they're already there. Why not try to push it up?
And Zool Rule's making a really great point in chat that the last pick Medivh into Leoric and Tomb, you can, even buried alive, you can just portal your team out to safety as long as Medivh doesn't himself get caught in that. So a lot of safety nets that Medivh offers between the portals and the Protect.
Yeah, just like Zeratul, a good Medivh player is just annoying to deal with.
Yeah, and I would make the argument that a good Medivh player is the most annoying thing to deal with, and that's only until I play a good Zeratul player the next game.
Yeah, there's a few heroes out there where, it's just, where's my 4th ban?
Pretty much, and off a little bit of a side, but I think we're pretty close to where you could make an argument for a 4th ban. The support pools and the tank pools are certainly robust enough to where I think you could do it. And there's the pause. But ironically, it was Xerisk who paused it, who's the person who's DC'd, which is weird. Lagif?
Well, while he's lagging, as we have funny things in chat, there he goes. But it's a good opportunity for the teams to talk about what they're going to do, what their plan is, reiterate, catch their breath. As this first objective is about 3 seconds away, and you know only people there are Leoric and Sonya right now.
Well, they figured while we have a DC pause, we're going to make a bio break out of it too. Yeah, both these teams I think are going to clear out the mid wave and then rotate top. PFM has Cassia all the way in the bottom lane still, so possible advantage for Lionspeed initially, as they will probably get up there first. Does this double support comp that Lionspeed is showing, does that give them an advantage early or late or all the time? Is it they have to burst somebody down and they don't want the long? How does that play out in an early objective like this? Illusion egg? Well, we might have lost Neg. Oh, okay. I'll be right back. All right. So I'm flying solo here. All the players and co-casters have left me, and I'm just going to vamp to myself. So we do have the R's coming out for Lionspeed. Let's see if we have the R's coming out for... Oh, just kidding. They retracted the R. Okay, now the R is back. We had R, not R. Now we have 3, 4, 5 R's and a RAR. So I think Lionspeed's ready to go. There's the R from PFM. Let's get the first Punisher going here in Game 2 on Infernal Shrine. Any second. So Lionspeed taking care of business here in the mid lane. Cassia is still bottom for PFM. The stun, the Lunar Flare, Medivh taking some damage there. Neither team has really rotated away, although Sonya in the top lane has started on the Shrine Monkeys and already has 8 of those little buggers down. So PFM getting to a nice early lead on the objective. Sonya's so good on Shrines at clearing them out. She's already got 10, 11. Both teams still rotating up, but they got caught in a skirmish here. Muradin jumping on the Uther, who just turns around and whacks him with his hammer. Lionspeed being forced to retreat. Greymane so low is able to disengage the safety. PFM eating some damage from the camp. However, Sonya, in the meantime, they bought enough time for Sonya to almost get this all herself, but now she is in trouble. Isolated out, trying to juke Mudge. Certainly going to go down. The Lunar Flare. Sonya goes down, but she's able to pick up 34 Shrine Guardians. Lionspeed here is going to have to really bully PFM off this if they want to get this first objective. PFM stepping in. Leo is very low. Greymane going ham on the backside. Really confident in that double support. PFM running for their lives. Stukov goes down. Star Fox goes down as well. However, Muradin, peeling overrated, decided to get the objective instead. Lands a blind Stormbolt through the wall onto Orphea and able to finish the kill. An early bloodbath here. Sonya was given so much time on that objective that she basically single-handedly secured that for PFM. So John Cena marching down the top lane. There's the portal in. Lunar Flare onto it, doesn't hit. Big Wiz was teleporting away, but he's interrupted by John Cena's mortars there. Oh, Orphea in trouble, running for Muradin one more time. This time the Stormbolt does not hit. And once again, though, Mudge on Sonya, just completely ignoring everything else that's going on and getting value. This time, siege damage in the bottom lane. First it was the Shrine Guardians. Now reinforcements have arrived in the form of Stukov and Muradin. Despite the first objective here for PFM, this game is very close experience-wise. Very close. So Leo back by himself in the top. Greymane and Uther going to start on this bottom camp. Sonya has returned to the top lane. PFM working on their own siege camp. So far this main tank Uther double support comp selected here by Lionspeed has been fairly effective in a very close game. Dead even in experience, it's 3 kills to 2. Despite an early reset on the stacks, I believe, he is sitting at 29, so getting pretty close to completing his baseline quest. Sonya definitely giving Leo all he can handle in the top lane as well, pushing the minions into the fort and then rotating away for double soak, sitting in this bush, waiting for Orphea to overextend. Let's see if she does. Great patience here by Mudge. The invade coming from PFM, unable to catch them in time, is great in withdrawal. Sonya does go on to Orphea. Cassia there to reinforce. Quick, patient kill. Waiting for Orphea to overstep, however. Lionspeed coming in, Uther using a double stun, a great lurking arm, completely breaking up the fight from the side of PFM. So heroics here for both sides. We have Go for the Throat, Crushing Jaws, Tehran still holding hers. Divine Storm, as we just saw, and Entomb used there as a peel to allow Uther to get away safely. For PFM, massive shove. Is that ball of lightning? No, Valkyrie from Tehran. There's the Crushing Jaws, hits 3. Uther falls nonetheless. Avatar for Muradin, Wrath of the Berserker for Sonya, and Herd of Sheep for Medivh. Both teams prepping the top lane, both teams grabbing their bruiser camp, both teams will start to make their way over to the second objective this game. It will be a Frozen Punisher this time around. This time, however, Sonya is not here to get a huge start on this for PFM. Both teams are pretty much here. Sonya and Leoric still battling in the top lane, Leo rotating down. Both teams posturing around the objective. The Shrine Guardian's very close, but good patience by PFM, waiting for Sonya to come down. Now she is here, and we will have a 5-on-5. There goes Herd of Sheep. Only catches the Leoric. Starfall goes down as well. Valkyrie catches nobody. Medivh actually goes down. Sonya, though, going ham on the backline. Poor Tyrande running for her life. Crushing Jaws almost saves her. Catches 2. Sonya going down as well. So a 2-for-1 in favor of Lionspeed. Soon to be 3. I do not know how Cassia will get out of that. So that's the first big moment that we have seen in either of these games for Lionspeed. This double support solo tank Uther comp really coming online there. Even though that was a 5-on-5, it was actually like 2 separate engagements. Sonya onto the backside of Lionspeed, while Uther and company were on the backline of PFM. The Frozen Punisher laying siege to the mid lane. Orphea was dispatched to the top to clear out the camp that PFM had pushing up there. This leaves numbers in favor of PFM. Wrath of the Berserker popped, and they catch Tyrande in the Valkyrie. She does get cleansed and almost to safety. Uther, however, gets caught in the silence, forced to withdraw. Greymane goes down. PFM being super aggressive. Tyrande gonna fall as well, and she does. There goes the poly on to Leo. He is in trouble. Uther goes down. Leo able to get away to safety. So PFM being very aggressive with Orphea showing in the top lane, taking full advantage of those portals, and a fantastic counter engage to get 3 kills And they will leverage that into this mid fort going down for Lionspeed. I don't think that's where that portal was meant to be, because that didn't go very far. I think he was going to portal into the siege camp here. Nonetheless, Muradin didn't seem to mind so much. He just jumped over the wall and was where he needed to be. So PFM, off of a strong counter engage, now really taking control of this map. Going to secure 2 mercenary camps, forcing Lionspeed on their back foot a little bit. And despite securing that objective decisively, the counter engage was so good that coming out of it, PFM is actually in a stronger position than they were going in, despite not securing the objective. They are trying to get on the gray main. Medivh is there. The portal will come in. There goes the poly, the slow from Stukov. Star Fox 64 is in trouble. And cutting him down is Sonya. Muradin and Medivh really sharking there for an over-rotated gray main. He stepped just far enough in lane for PFM to feel like they could catch him. And with a Muradin Medivh, he really doesn't take much to overstep that. There's the portal onto the other side. Lunar Flare for the disengagement. The Valkyrie does not land. Off lane, Sonya and Leoric continue to brawl. And once again, PFM leveraging map advantage and level 16s to take down another fort nearly unopposed. Now, Tyrande caught a little far forward again. The Lunar Flare to try to save herself, but it is probably not going to matter. Oh my goodness, Glaucus barely escaping an aggressive portal play coming out by PFM. Despite the objective spawning, they're going to get a little more structure damage down here and rotate away. Now, the last few minutes have been all PFM. Lionspeed definitely put on their back heels. Despite all of that, both teams are at level 16, and this game is very much here for the taking for Lionspeed if they can win this objective one more time, and they did last time pretty decisively. So here we go. Top lane mercenaries will cancel each other out. Wrath of the Berserkers popped. Both teams posturing. PFM forcing them back. There's Crushing Jaws and the Polymorph and the Silence. Big Wiz trying to deal with Sonya on the backside. These fights are just all over the place. There's so much going on. And in this case, unlike last time, instead of a bloodbath, it's nobody really dying. Valkyrie isolates out Greymane, though, and he will go down. A huge lurking arm finishes off Leoric and Uther. Full retreat for the side of Lionspeed. Orphea will not get out. Glaucus probably will. Only hero left alive to tell the tale. PFM will be securing this Arcane Punisher, and they have to have their eyes set on the bottom lane keep. So a huge Valkyrie coming out from Darabo there. Started off the kills, securing the Greymane, and after that it was just a massive lurking arm by Arya. Finish off Leoric. That was all she wrote for this objective, and they're leaving it at 39. Leaving Sonya in the top lane to get as much soak as she can, and now she will rotate down. Join her team, I would assume, for a push in the bottom lane. PFM going to get all of the camps here. They're a little afraid to check this one. Now they have Medivh in bird form, checking to make sure that Lionspeed does not grab that. So Arcane Punisher will be pushing in the bot lanes with a Kata, with mercenaries, and with basically a wave and a half of minions, while the mid lane is being simultaneously pushed out by the siege camp there. There's the portal coming down soon. I assume they're going to try to go in with John Cena. Just go through the sidewall. Portal not necessary. Uther is just gone. He had no shot to get out of that. And that is first blood. The stroke diving in on a Murid, and Valkyrie does catch Greymane. John Cena making this a 6v4, and this is going to be all she wrote, I believe, ladies and gentlemen. Orphea going down. Leo going down. Lionspeed, man oh man, they had their one shining moment there in the mid-game. Were not able to convert it to into a win, and PFM going to take a 2-0 over Lionspeed. So a very strong start to the season for PFM. There's the stats, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are so inclined to check those out. Pretty solid performance from PFM. They were very composed, even when they kind of got bullied in that second objective just a little bit. They bounced back really, really hard. Kept their composure, didn't let the game get away from them. Finished the domination, picked up 3 points in the standing. It's about as strong as a start as you could want if you were the members of PFM. All right, guys. Well, that is going to do it for me. Neg, I'm going to speak for him and say thank you for joining us. Follow me on Twitch and Twitter if you're so inclined to do so. But I'm going to pass everybody over to the first NGS Thursday Night Showdown, which should be starting any minute now. So it's actually perfect timing. So my goal to be the pregame for the main event has worked out great. Thanks so much for joining me, and enjoy the Thursday Night Showdown.